Greg went to, well, basically the latest game of the year on Tuesday when Bloomington Jefferson went to Eden Prairie, putting its undefeated regular season on the line. And without giving too much away, let's just say that the Jaguars are no longer undefeated. Greg, what did you see Tuesday?
Eden Prairie was dominating. They had lost 2-1 previously to Bloomington Jefferson. Great atmosphere. They couldn't cram any more people in there for the fire marshal. Even I barely squeezed in. There was still a big line trying to get in at 7:15. But anyhow, just a great atmosphere. Eden Prairie was just flying the first period, and they jumped off to 2-0 lead, and then they got a 3-0 lead early in the second period, and that pretty much put the game away. Jefferson, I don't know if it was one of their better games, but when somebody plays as well as Eden Prairie did, and Eden Prairie has been they've been flying under the radar here. They've only, I believe, have 3 losses, and they played one of the toughest schedules in the state. Lee Smith, the coach of Eden Prairie, has got his players just right where, they got the biggest name player, Nick Clark, the defenseman. He does a little bit of everything for him. It reminds me of Mike Crowley when he used to play for the Bloomington Jefferson team and stuff. But Bloomington Jefferson was undefeated going in that game. I think they were 21-0. Were they as strong as the Jaguar Championships teams of 92, 93, 94? I don't think so. But they've got a lot of balance. A lot of people forget a lot of Jefferson's top players are juniors. So Jeff Lindquist, the coach of Jefferson, is going to have a strong team. But just an outstanding game. Both teams are going to be in tough sections. So whether they get to state, it's hard to say. I think the semifinals in Section 6 and the semifinals Section 2 are going to be tremendous. Any of those 8 teams that are in those semifinal games could probably win the state championship. But I've never seen this much balance in state boys hockey around the state. I mean, you can go Centennial, Moorhead, Edina, Hill Murray. Don't count Hill Murray out. Ever since they've sort of regrouped after getting rid of a few players there.
Minnetonka might be the most complete team I've seen this year in terms of sending 3 lines out there, and with some of the D-men. Andrew Procknow, junior defenseman for the Skippers, might be the most underrated player.
Holy Angels, probably one of the top centers in the state. Danny Matson. Yeah. I mean, and then Jefferson, Eden Prairie. We've got a lot of teams capable of.
And don't forget Rosso.
Yeah. Well,
but Duluth East. I mean, we could go on. It's a year, like you said, where the balance is.
I think we could throw 15 teams in the hat, and maybe any one of those 15 might have a chance to win the state AA.
Yeah, which is good and bad. A lot of these teams aren't going to have a chance to play in the tournament because, like you said, these sections are going to be so loaded. Right. But the tournament might end up being better this year just because of the balance across the board and how it's kind of spread out. Perennially, Section 1 is kind of going to be the however you want to put it, the team that gets to go in there and kind of be the sacrifice to whoever. But that's probably going to be the case this year. I think Lakeville South is going to be the top seed down there. As the regular season wraps up next week. But that said, we might have a fantastic boys hockey tournament this year.
You get a free T-shirt no matter what. So that's the beauty of the state tournament.
Yeah, and as a kid to play in front of the 17,000, 18,000 fans, that. You could lose by 8 goals and still.
Is there any other experience in high school sports that's anything like that around here, Nick?
No.
I mean, the hockey tournament, the XL is filled. I mean, what a great atmosphere.
I just think you're going to see a lot of tremendous high school players sitting in Section 215 watching the state tournament, because in some of these competitive sections, there's going to be some terrific teams that aren't not going to get it even through the semifinals.
They'll have their days, though. I was at the Section 2 and Section 6. They had a back-to-back doubleheader for the finals last year at Mariucci, and Mariucci was overflowing. I mean, there was, you consider that, fans from schools had to leave to let other fans in between games. I mean, there's probably 15,000 people that made their way into Mariucci that night to watch those 2 games, and I mean, it was It was spectacular hockey. Been able to beat Minnetonka in overtime, and then Edina needed, I think, 2 overtimes to beat Burnsville that night to get through. And it's going to be a great time of the year. And we're just a couple weeks away. It's kind of exciting.
One complaint I have about regular season boys hockey is that with the arenas most of the arenas having seating on just one side, it's really tough when you get a classic matchup like Bloomington Jefferson and Eden Prairie, where you could move it to Mariucci Arena, maybe have 6,000-7,000 people.
Probably easily,
for a regular season game. And if you throw in a doubleheader game, Hill Murray against somebody, you might fill the place. But it just is so hard at some of these arenas. I like the good old-fashioned arena like Braemar, seating on both sides. It's got that arena atmosphere. Bloomington Ice Garden, a little bit smaller, but the same thing. It's just
Aldridge
as big as boys hockey is. I think some of these regular season games that are going to be big, it'd be fun if they could be played, I don't know, at a neutral site or something, and give a chance for all the fans from around the area, and at least those communities, a chance to even get in. I know there's probably 1,000 people that did not get in that arena over at Eden Prairie.
Or make sure it's televised so people get a chance to watch it. I mean, Tuesday night they had on Buffalo and Wayzata, and while it was neat for those kids to get the opportunity to play on TV, especially up in Buffalo where they don't get a lot of the notoriety. I mean, let's be honest, there's probably 5 or 6 better games to watch that night.
What do you think the ratings were on that one?
Probably pretty good in the Buffalo area.
All I know is that when I went to the scouts were having an easier time getting into the game than I was on my credential.
Yeah.
So one guy at the gate said, "Oh, are you one of those scouts? We've got about 15, 20 of them, college and stuff." No, I said, "I'm covering this game for Sun newspaper."
You'd figure after all these years, Greg, they just know who you are. Give you your own door.
I don't know. I got to give athletic director Mike Grant a little grief about that, having to pay to see his beloved Eagle.
I'm sure he's looking forward to that phone call.
One body check would get you in any door. I mean,
granted, my presence might have taken up a couple of bodies there, and with the fire marshal being really,
Yeah.